Saya mengucapkan terima kasih sungguh ya kepada Bapak Ibu yang sudah meluangkan waktunya pada pagi hari ini untuk bergabung bersama kami di PCMan Webinar. Dengan kondisi di mana WFH bukan lagi suatu pilihan tapi sudah menjadi kewajiban ya. Maka seiring dengan itu juga maka teknologi cloud relevan ya dengan kondisi yang ada dan tren dunia IT memang sedang menuju ke cloud. Nah, di sini yang kita ingin jelaskan adalah bahwa cloud itu bukanlah suatu transisi ataupun migrasi besar-besaran. Cloud adalah suatu journey, perjalanan.
Thank you everyone to having me in the section. During section, I want to walk you through some of the major things on the cloud security and with the Azure Security Center that we provide from Microsoft side. Start, right? Everyone know that we are in crisis, which is since last year we have a COVID-19 outbreak, and then everything is changed in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in everywhere in the world, and it's navigated to a new business challenges. The company have seen a major gap, and they need to move on really fast in terms of a digital transformation to shift the customer from the offline, from the in-person experience to the online experience, for example. And during the COVID, during the transformation, the customer try to provide the service to the customer or try to be resilient. We see a lot of data generated, and the data and information that generated from those activities really attract the cyber criminal activity, right? And because we cannot go to the office, we need to scale as fast as possible without shipping a new hardware, for example, a new server in the next couple of weeks or even a couple of months due to the COVID, right? Traditional security with the traditional on-premise server approach had failed us, right? It's no hardened parameter like a corporate network, like a managed network that we ever know. The physical security is cannot be whole in this new world. And that's the reason why we have the cloud security approach. It's not new, but because of the COVID, it become more and more familiar to the customer. And with that, with the customer move to the cloud, or even the customer still on with the hybrid infrastructure, but they connect the on-premise one to the cloud, what we call as a hybrid cloud. So we use our cloud security to address three major things. The first thing is rapidly changing the workload or insecure configuration, right? When they move to cloud because of the crisis, so maybe we miss configuration somewhere, right, during the change. The second thing is increasingly of the sophisticated attack. So the hacker may roll quicker than the IT teams or the SecOps teams, and they start to attack during the COVID, during the crisis, during the situation that everyone needs to work from another location. And some of them won't or didn't follow the security best practice because of the cost, the end user understanding and knowledge about security. And the third one of this cloud security that we want to address is provide a visibility into the security and also compliance, right? It's not been that we cannot go to the office, does not mean that we need to scale our business to violate some compliance, some national law, some national regulation, or industrial standard. For example, like the PCI DSS, right? So with the cloud security, in the general, we have the approach with 4 things. The first thing, how we control the application, which is running on the cloud, or even the storage on the cloud. We can manage, we have the capability to manage the multi-cloud, even that is a private cloud, it's your hybrid cloud, or it can be the Azure or Google AWS. So that is a multi-cloud security posture management. And from there, we provide the capability to cloud workload protection. It can be the website on the cloud, it can be the VM on the cloud, it can be some platform as a service running on the cloud. And we develop some secure application. For example, the COVID-19 application, how we can manage, how we can make sure that the information of citizens in that application will be secure. It's not about running a lot of firewall or protection, but also need to be from the development of programming state also. We have to build that. So I'll walk you through, I want you to look into the threat actor, where it's come from, where it should be a compromise from the customer side, from every organization, right? So that is 4 major things. So exposure, it can be from some misconfiguration, insecure configuration. It can be from some VM, on-premise one, connect to the cloud, or anywhere in the cloud have some mis-security packet. Or it can be some admin, or even the developer, programmer, have the access to some critical system. And because they need to work from home, from a not secure place, even they go to the office, they went to the office, but they still got hacked by the endpoint or by the social engineering, whatever, infected admin. Or you have some backdoor, you have some entry point open, and they can get the access, right? Or the credential set or the compromised user. It's happened everywhere. A day that you got an email from someone who said that he had a vaccine, have a new vaccine, and you click on a link and you get compromised. So from there, they get into the VM, they get into the application, they can use your API. They can use the privilege of the credential, and they can get into the data, the storage of the data or IoT device that been hacked. And from that, they keep moving around into the network. But right now, the network just not limited in the LAN network, not a local area network. It's entire of network, including the environment on the cloud. And the action is they will get your data out of the protected environment. They can put some ransomware or even the WannaCry to try to do the crypto encryption. Or they use your employee machine to run some crypto mining script. So that is the threat actor. When we see, we need to leverage the internet to work, right? It's not just about bringing the server to the cloud, but even you get into the internet world, you will face with this. And as a security, we have the built-in control that we can help with this. We have identity and access management. We have a network security. We have data security. We have the threat protection for the VM, for the storage, for the API, for the Kubernetes. We have the Intelligent Act to protect the IoT device or service. And we have security management capability on it. And all is built-in. It means that you don't need to go and install some execution file. You don't need it, right? Sorry, I get some noise. So I will need you to mute. Thank you. So something we call that is defense in depth. Again, this framework, this approach is not just from Microsoft, but we implemented with the industrial standard, with the regulation that we cooperate with the organization and nation in the world. We call that is defense in depth, and it's bring across the identity, application, network, and threat protection or security management. And we work with the PCMan to help the customer, to bring to the customer this capability. Right. So specifically into the Azure Security Center, we have two major things, and sponsored and powered by AI. Right. So the first thing is strengthen the multi-cloud security posture. We provide with the secure score. I will have some quick demo later. We provide you the capability to put down the policy, to set up the policy and the compliance standard, and provide the capability of improve automation. You can run the script, but now you don't need to. You just set up an action on the Azure Security Center, and then follow the rule, follow the action, and run or trigger by the condition that you set up. The second thing is protect the hybrid cloud with Azure Defender for server, for the application on the cloud, for the database and storage on the cloud, for the Azure service layer, for the IoT device, and everything is at scale as a policy-based management. So this is a major thing we can do with the Azure Security Center. So if you want to take a look into the architecture of the solution, so basically on Azure, we have the infrastructure, the VM, the storage, we have the platform as a service, can be the web application, we have a network, right? And we have a threat intelligence, the alert and a security signal from anywhere, and also we connected with the IoT device, with a VM on the VMware or Hyper-V, or even with the other cloud, like for example, Amazon Web Service. So that is can be the Edge, it can be on-premise server, on-premise service, and the other cloud, right? And with the Security Center, we manage the log analytic workspace. We use the machine learning. It can be Microsoft machine learning or the partner machine learning model, and we present it into dashboard. Right. So first, let's jump into the strengthen security posture to see how it's helped you to firstly have gain the visibility, the insight, what you are right now, what the threat you are right now, right? So with the secure score, we have the customer to see, to look into your environment. You don't need to do much. You need to connect and turn it on. And then you give you the insight about security of your workload, even the cloud or the on-premise one, connect to the cloud. And what is the security patch that you're missing? What is the priority and the recommendation for security vulnerability that you have? It's all in one dashboard. I will show you later. And not just show you the security misconfiguration or the patches, but also guide you, recommend you how to improve, how to take the action to improve the score, to improve the overall security posture. Okay, and hand in hand with the compliance. So that is how you can use, how we bring the secure score impact. And a machine, right, is running. When it's running, when you have the machine running, And with that, the IT operation teams will work with the SecOps team, security teams, to put down some security policy, to put down some compliance policy, and do continuously assessment. And how you can manage that really complex environment between the cloud, between the on-premise one, between many cloud, right? And see what happened inside of the machine. Like the machine don't have the antivirus, is not compliant with the PCI, its server, SQL server is not encrypted, or using an unsecured subnet, right? And with that, with the Azure Security Center, when you see that, Rick, you don't need to go one by one machine, you don't need to go one by one database to fix it. We can automate it, automate the action. The recommendation will be lent with some automation capability using Logic App, using Event Hub, right? And you can export that to the CSV file for compliance check, for audit, and for reusing it the next time. So with that capability, you can create your own company policy for the cloud, or for the hybrid, for the on-premise workload, write out your own recommendation for your teams, and also share it with the auditor, or share it with the community if you would like to share, right? And there is some new capability, and also we have an ecosystem with not just Microsoft partner, but also security partner. We call that is a Microsoft Intelligent Security Association. When we work with the Checkpoint, CyberArk, IBM Curator, and so on, Palo Alto, to improve the security for our customer. So with that, it's helped you to have the bird's eye, the eagle eyes, across the network, across the VM, across the infrastructure, across the storage, across the container on the cloud, on-premise one, across the computing service that you have, and within single dashboard, right? So that is the multi-cloud security posture that we can bring into. We call it as CS PM, right? And after we have the insight, after we put down the policy, after we have some action to improve the security as the foundation, what to be next? The attacker not just follow the rule, right? And not stop the attack like stop eating. They will keep attack into the system. And to protect the hybrid cloud, to protect the multi-cloud, with the Azure Defender, we have some security management tool. And yes, it's also easy to use. It's protect the Linux and Windows server from the threat by the assessment, by provide some recommendation and the ability to fork some of like reduce the open network port to use with the just-in-time to control the access, to limit the open port with the adaptive network hardening, to block the malware from adaptive application control, and to hand-in-hand with the client protection. I mean, that is Microsoft Defender for endpoint on the Linux, on the VM. Is it running on the Azure or not? Is it running on the on-premise or the other cloud? It still work. Okay, so we protect the Linux and the Windows server from the threat. And from the Azure Security Center, you can turn on some built-in vulnerability assessment for VMs. You don't need to install any agent. Just turn it on and it will be scanned. And it's free if you use the Azure Security Center. It's powered by Qualys. It's one of a famous security management provider. And not just about the VM, but also many customers, they have a developer or they work with the other customer, the other partner to build some application running on the container, right? And with the Azure Security Center, we also have the capability to protect not only the compute, but also the container, like AKS, like Azure Kubernetes, and the other thing with the container to scan, to know the security vulnerability, to fix it. And the data from the threat, whenever the data stored in the on-premise SQL Server or the Azure SQL Server, Azure MySQL Server is protected, and you can scan, discover, classify, protect the sensitive data inside of a table in the record, an X record of this Azure database. So it's a new advanced protection capability for the data service that you can bring into your environment. And with the Azure Key Vault, we provide an industrial standard for data protection. And some of the manufacturing customers came to Microsoft and they say that we have an IoT device everywhere in the factory or in on the farm, and we also work with the IoT partner to provide more IoT solution to our environments. So how we protect that, because the IoT is on the field, right, on the farm, on the factory. So with the Azure Security Center, we provide an end-to-end security for your IoT infrastructure, and also incorporate with the 5G network, right, to improve the security best practice for the IoT hub, for the compute and data running on the IoT device. So that is one of the unique solutions built in by Microsoft to protect your environment with the IoT environment. And from there, in a general way, we get a deep insight on each workload that you use, provide you with a single dashboard and a single place to put down the action to the application on the cloud, or the VM, the container, the data service, or IoT device through just a single dashboard. Right. So you will get secure faster with the Azure Security Center, and the customer, you as a customer, right? You're running some SIEM, a security incident and response center, SOC center. You just simply turn it on, right? You don't need to invest in this crisis. You invest a lot of money into some security solution, and then you need to invest a lot of money again to some security monitor and security management system. You don't need to. You just turn it on, pay as you go, with the integration, built-in integration between the Azure Security Center and Azure Sentinel. You can do it, and you have a cloud SIEM with the cloud native capability to manage, to help you manage across the tenant, across many tenants. So from the cloud workload protection to the cloud native SIEM, just one single click, turn on the connector and pay as you use. It's normally a fact to your financial model. The cost we bring in is cheaper than invest into so many security or even the hardware to serve the security solution. And again, we call that is Microsoft Defender, the XDR capability integrated with the SIEM, the cloud SIEM, with the Azure Sentinel, and to operate, to firstly do the hardening policy, to do this assessment, to present to you about the threat, and then help you to fix it. We have the partner, PCMan, with the partner to help you to implement, to help you to see the threat, and also help you to implement the action or moving forward, operate your security center. Right. And we have a couple customer feedback on the security center, that when they use it, when they have really kind of blissful visibility on the security across the hybrid cloud, across the IoT environment that they have, that is giving them a great opportunity, a great tool to protect their environment. Yep. And actually, we have a free tier and we have a standard tier, which is a free one and a paid one with the use of choice, right? So if the customer just want to have the cloud security posture management, you can go with a free tier. But if you want to implement to the protection some approach with the VM, with a SQL database, with everything else, with the capability of the cloud workload protection, you can go with a standard tier. So we committed to your protection of the business. So let me quickly walk you through the demo, which is a dashboard that I'm using right now. So this is the dashboard. That is the security center that we have right now. And with free subscription that I have right now with this, I'm actually have 90 active recommendation and security alert here. So each recommendation will affect to the secure score that I have, right? And when I look into this, easily for me to understand about the recommendation status, the resources health, and some API if I want to turn it on. So for example, I have some vulnerability here. I patched the SQL, but I have some assessment solution that I need to run to enable on the VM. Just turn on a quick fix, right? And then I choose something and I just click immediate, right? And process. Just leave it there. If I have a concern into the security alert, just go here and I see all of the security alert that I have, even some potential SQL injection, right? It's, the information here is really amazing for me as an IT operation, or for me as a SecOps teams to look into, and also a technical action, right? Really detail on the action that you need to take and to secure your environment. So we have security score here. We have the Azure Defender with the resources covered here. We have inventory where you can see all of the information about the hardware, the VM that you're running on the cloud or hybrid one here, right? Is it a monitor or partial monitor? And what the recommendation you have here, or unhealthy resources, unmonitored resources on your environment, in your environment. And moreover than that, we can improve the compliance of the VM. For example, you are a clinic, you are a hospital, you are a financial institution, you need to fix something with the compliance, for example, like a cryptography control, right? So it's really easy for you to see the action and to provide any action, which is the PCMan will help you to do it. We can download the report, right? For what? For the auditor, for some chain and management kind of the internal process that you have, right? So you just use it, and everything is here. You don't need to take the screenshot, the capture for everything, and then you put it into a doc file, right? So it's everything is here. All right. So that's just a capability, a simple thing. When you firstly go through this dashboard, we have so many things here. For example, like the management capability, like security policy. Right. So some of the edit the default as a security center policy here. You add a custom policy. You add some compliance standard here for the dashboard and things, and you have a visibility on all of the things, and so on with the security solution. So if you have some third-party security partner, you use Checkpoint firewall, you use the Barracuda, you use the sorry, the same. You just go and add the solution. For example, I add the same, right? And with the guidance, with the partner support, you will connect the same into this as a security center. Easy, easy. Or you want to go with some automation script that the partner will help you to do with to protect your environment. No need to repeat and repeat again for instance or VM or storage. And you also have the capability to connect to another cloud, for example, like the Amazon Web Service or the GCP, the Google Cloud platform. You just here, right? Just click on it, and you have the partner help you with the configuration and all the things. So that's it. That is the introduction about Azure Security Center and the capability that we can bring in and help you to protect your hybrid cloud environment, including with the IoT environment that we have to bring it on and help you with. So that is my presentation, and if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, and I'll help you with.
The first question is from Mr. James. Mr. James wants to know that does Azure Security Center can also provide the inventory of a client hardware? Maybe what does it mean is that does Azure Security Center has some inventory capability to list out the hardware or the applications that has been installed in a certain client?
The answer for us is the Azure Security Center inventory that we have is actually for the server workload. It's focused more on the server workload, right? So to get down into detail of the machine, for example, on the screen that I have right now, right? So it's more provide you with security posture. The inventory here is provide security posture on the server, on the machine, on the VM. But if you looking for the hardware inventory and software inventory, it will be part of the SCCM or the Intune or the Microsoft Defender for endpoint. Deep into the endpoint protection. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ya, jadi Pak James ya jawabannya seperti yang sudah disampaikan tadi. Jadi kalau Azure Security Center memang ditujukan untuk mendapatkan security posture, nilai ya kita bilang nilai dari nilai security dari setiap target kita. Dan target dari Azure Security Center actually for servers rather than for clients. Jadi bukan untuk PC client. Kalau memang tujuannya untuk inventory PC client, ya, maka solusinya adalah lebih baik digabung dengan Intune. Ya, Intune yang ada juga di dalam modul Microsoft 365. Ya, jadi kalau tertarik untuk informasi lebih lanjut, nanti PCMan tentunya dengan senang hati akan memberikan solusi lebih lengkap ya untuk Mr. James. So, menjawab ya, Pak James. Kemudian the second question is from Mr. Denny, yeah, and the third one also. The second questions will be, this is a general questions, yeah. How long does it take for a certain company to migrate to Azure Cloud? This is a generic questions. Yeah, maybe you just give a overview answer. Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, I running Azure community in Vietnam also, and that is also the question that a lot of people put in my community. So we have three things. Firstly, a lift and shift. So it means that whatever you use, for example, you have VM running some web application on-premise one, you want to bring into the cloud, you just do a lift and shift. So lift and shift the VM, to store it into the cloud, and you use it, right? It's basically a change of the environment only. But the lift and shift will cost you, right? It's not about the time, it's about the money, it's about the pricing, the cost. So it will cost you more. So after you do a lift and shift, maybe it's easy, like within a night or within a week, you can lift and shift entire of the environment. We have the migration as a migration tool to help you to do that. So it depends on the size, but it can be the night, it can be a week, right? And after that, you want to optimize the cost, right? So you want to look into some service that you can modernize. You can code and build the new service inside of the entire of the service. So we call that some recommendation that you can go to the service. We call that is Azure optimization service to offer you some recommendation. And some of the customer, they have a choice. They said that, no, I don't want to migrate this to the cloud. I want to build the same thing or even the more capability things on the cloud from scratch. And they start building it with a web application service, not with the traditional or the outdated technology for 5 years ago. So they start doing that, and depend on the requirement, it will be the time consuming.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, please give me some time to translate it to Mr. Denny. Ya, jadi Pak Denny, ya, kalau pertanyaan yang tadi dikatakan boleh dijelaskan berapa lama estimasi waktu yang dibutuhkan perusahaan untuk migrasi ke Cloud Azure, maka jawabannya adalah pada umumnya pada saat kita migrasi ke Cloud Azure, ya Pak ya, kita bisa menempuh dua skenario. Skenario yang pertama adalah, kita menjalankan strategi yang bernama lift and shift. Lift and shift ini adalah mengkonversi langsung setiap server kita menjadi VM di cloud. Ini sangat cepat, ya, bisa dilakukan dalam days, ya, or weeks, ya, even days, ya. Dalam semalam kita bisa mengkonversikan, in a night we can convert a server, ya, directly to Azure Cloud. Nah, jadi di dalam lift and shift ini, the first step yang kita akan mendapatkan, maka server-server yang tadinya ada di on-premise sudah naik cloud. Tetapi lift and shift ini belum dioptimize untuk cost, ya. Jadi artinya dia akan mengkonversi VM directly one-to-one dan belum memanfaatkan seluruh optimization tools, ya, yang ada di Azure, seperti yang sudah diperlihatkan di slide ini oleh Mr. Ryan. Ya. Kita bisa mengoptimasi, ya, semua server-server kita di Azure, ya, dengan memanfaatkan banyak fitur-fitur di Azure, serverless ataupun platform as a service. Ya. Kita bisa optimize di sana sehingga aplikasi kita bisa lebih cost efektif, ya, performance bisa lebih tinggi dan sebagainya. Jadi pada umumnya melewati dua tahap itu, Pak. Tahap pertama, lift and shift, kita convert dulu, tapi memang biayanya akan menjadi agak tinggi. Tapi setelah itu, mungkin setelah sudah naik, ya, minggu kedua kita lanjutkan dengan optimization. Nah, ada juga company yang memilih direct, ya, direct develop on cloud. Artinya sistem yang ada di on-premises tidak di-convert ke Azure, tetapi langsung di Azure memanfaatkan seluruh fasilitas yang ada di Azure. Saya ambil contoh tadi misalnya database, ya, langsung menggunakan platform as a service, ataupun beberapa fitur yang lain bisa menggunakan serverless, ya, yang tentunya akan lebih cost efektif, ya, di Azure. Jadi kita membangun sebuah aplikasi, ya, ataupun fitur menggantikan apa yang ada di on-premise sampai yang di on-cloud ini setelah di-develop, dibangun itu sudah sama, maka kita memindahkan fungsinya saja. Jadi ada dua skenario yang biasanya dipilih pada saat satu company mulai mengadopsi Azure, ya Pak Denny. Ya, jika butuh informasi lebih lanjut, dengan senang hati kita bisa membantunya. Kita juga bisa memberikan free assessment, ya, kepada on-premises system Bapak, dan kemudian memberikan recommendation, ya, mana yang kita bisa lift and shift, mana yang mungkin sebaiknya di-develop directly on cloud, dan kemudian memberikan a roadmap, ya, how long does it take for your company to move to Azure Cloud. Semoga jelas ya Pak Denny. So the third question is Ryan, yeah. Okay, this is more generic one. Can you give us more explanation on the distribution model of Azure? I'm guessing that the question is that he wants to know more about the Azure features. Yeah, I mean, is it VM based, serverless, platform as a service, and also the security features that you have mentioned here in Azure Security Center. It's more generic questions. Well, maybe you can give some overview. Overview. Ryan, thank you. Pak Denny, ya, Mr. Denny, jika boleh dijelaskan lebih lanjut ya mengenai apa yang disebut dengan distribution model dari Azure yang diminta ya. Ya, kalau yang saya pahami adalah distribution model di Azure yang mungkin Bapak maksudkan adalah bahwa di Azure ini kita bisa memiliki infrastructure as a service, artinya satu server on premises bisa di-convert menjadi satu VM on cloud. Jadi apapun yang jalan di the server kita tentu bisa jalan, ya. Tapi kemudian apalagi yang tersedia selain VM? What else? What else Azure has other than just a VM? Well, Azure has a lot of computational functionality. Yeah, Mr. Ryan is here to show you more. Yeah, thank you.
So actually, with every cloud, we have heard about infrastructure as service. What does it mean? It's VM, it's the storage running on the cloud, right? And they said about the platform as a service, where we have the web application service, when we have the API on the cloud, and so on. And when we go down into something like Office 365, Dynamics, Salesforce, we call that as software as a service. So inside of Microsoft Cloud, I'm not saying that Azure is a Microsoft Cloud. We have the infrastructure service at a compute that you have right now on the stream database, or we have the platform as a service. We have the analytics capability, AI. We have some of service coming from the media and comm, the networking service, storage as a service, or IoT service. Right, and we also are the strongest identity and security in the world, and you know that everyone using Azure AD S1 in your life, right? So if you want to looking for an end-to-end Azure workload, I'm not a distribution, but Azure workload, you can go to the azure-truck.com/heatmap. It's built by one of our cloud security architecture, and it shows a lot of information in terms of the Azure workload, and we call that as the Azure heat map. So for each component here, for example, a VM, or for example, like machine learning, right? And you click on it, and you route back you to the official Microsoft blog for you to learning more. So yes, Microsoft is not just having the VM or the storage as infrastructure. We also have the AI analytics, even the DevOps with a development site, development service that we can bring in to help the partner and the customer. Right. So hope the answer can help you to explore more on the Azure service that we have.
Sorry, yeah. So Mr. Denny, yeah, hope it answered Mr. Ryan has answered your questions, ya. So actually other than VM, ya, selain VM kita memiliki di Azure itu kita memiliki resources yang lengkap, ya, mulai dari AI, analytics, ya, compute database, ya. Jadi artinya step pertama adalah memang mengkonversi menjadi VM. Nah, step kedua kita akan optimize, ya, dengan fitur yang ada di Azure sehingga kita akan mendapatkan fungsi scalability bahkan cost yang lebih rendah, ya, daripada sekedar semuanya menggunakan VM. Tapi step pertama, yes, lift and shift for the VM. So the next question is from Mr. Arif. Yeah, Mr. Arif have two questions. The first one is, he wants to know what is the when we move a workload, an application workload from on-premise to cloud. Yeah, what is the impact of the latency and the delay and things like that? He wants to know that he have a production system on premise, right? Already accessible from internet using IP public. So when shift into Azure, what is the typical, say, maybe what we call it? What is the typical scalability? What is the typical latency? Will it be better than when they run it on premise? And he wants to know things like that. Yeah, that's the first question from Mr. Arif. Yeah, the second question is this should be more simple. How to does Azure Cloud give us the tools to monitor? Yeah, the server operating parameters such as the RAM usage, the storage usage. Yeah. Well, actually, it's built in in Azure. That's the two questions from Mr. Arif. Mr. Ryan.
Yeah. So I take the the simpler question first, and get his answer. So if you go down into the cost, with someone who not frequently using the cloud, you can go straightforward to the cost management and billing on the Azure portal and with all of the things. Sorry, I don't have it here because I'm using an internal subscription, which is not showing the I'm not have the permission to see all the costs. But then as a customer or you working with the PCMan will provide you or guide you to do it. You can go to the cost management and billing. You can go back to go straight to the cost management, and then you can see that is some of the cost analytics here. So which workload, the group, the location and things, the total cost here will be here, right? And for you to understand and easily to break down into each single thing, which one and what is the matter that you're looking for is here. And also the tool will help you to build a budget, right? Everyone had a budget. Sorry, I don't have the full permission for it, but then you can help to build the budget for the cloud, right? And we also have the advisory advisor recommendation here. So for you to optimize the cost, as I mentioned, when you live in SIP, some of the workload need to be optimized to reduce the cost. Right, it's here. Potential saving is here. So as you can see, Microsoft will provide really kind of detail into the cost management and the billing thing, so the customer can easy to control the cost, easy to see how they can optimize the cost. So that is the answer for the second question that you have, right? And with the third question, I'm not sure that I can help you with because we need to do assessment on your production environment, understand about what is required from your side in terms of a network, in terms of some security policy to answer that. But yes, if you work with the PCMan, we will work with you to help you to identify the information that you need and also the latency or the network requirement when you move to the cloud.
Yes. Actually, he wants to just want to be sure that when he moved the application from on-premise to Azure, the availability, the scalability from Azure, because Azure's data center is not in Indonesia, right? So just want to make sure that it's there. But I can assure you, Mr. Arif, actually we have a lot of experiences, moving on-premises application to Azure. Azure is located in the Singapore IX, SGIX, the data center is in Singapore. And most of the providers, most of the internet providers in Indonesia already have direct access, have direct link, direct link to SGIX. We can also recommend some of the ISP, but the idea is that all our customers, most of our customer doesn't experience any latency or delay. Bigger, larger latency than their when the application is still hosted on premises. It is accessible from most of the ISP from Indonesia without any significant latency, and the applications has been running smoothly after it has been migrated to Azure. But if you need it, we can also perform some POC or assessment for your applications to make sure that when it has been migrated to Azure, the performance, the scalability, and the latency will not be lesser than what you have now. Thank you, Ryan. Pak Arif, semoga menjawab pertanyaannya. Jadi artinya pada saat kita memigrasi aplikasi kita ke cloud, ke cloud on Azure, karena Azure ini ada di Indonesia, ada di SGIX, dengan seluruh ISP di Indonesia sekarang sudah memiliki direct link ke SGIX, maka performance-nya bisa dikatakan tidak akan signifikan terimpact, seluruh availability tetap akan bisa didapatkan. Kemudian yang kedua, tadi pertanyaannya dari Mr. Arif ada actually, does Azure Cloud also monitor the resources, Ryan, resources such as RAM resource, the server storage? Does it have any graphical interface to show the resources? Actually, he's talking about the built-in Azure VM monitoring.
Anyway, actually, not in this section that I have the existing demo yet. But for monitoring perspective, they can go to Azure Monitor and set up some of the graphic with the metric, or see the server tile, or run some workbook. So maybe we need to deep dive into this Azure management and monitoring in another section to have more time to see, and also with the auto scale capability also.
Okay, thank you. That should be enough. Jadi Mr. Arif, bisa saya sampaikan ada, yes, there is, So it's actually built in, it's easily, all the VMs, all the resources on Azure has a monitoring capability, has a graphical monitoring capability of the resources, be it Windows or Linux, Memang dalam seksi ini in this section ini topiknya memang security, jadi tidak ke sana, tapi jawabannya adalah yes, it is, yes, there is, and it is easily provided because it is already built in Azure VM. Jika dibutuhkan kita bisa memberikan juga video, we can forward a video showing you the Azure, the graphical Azure monitoring for Azure resources. Okay, thank you. So the next questions, maybe we still have time for one more questions. Okay, this will be the last questions. Let me see. Here is the last question. Okay, this more, I'm not sure if we can answer this. Do you have any timeline when the Azure data center will be available also in Indonesia locally?
I don't have the public answer for that, but I think firstly, right, even in Indonesia, we have Alibaba and the other cloud data center, right? In Vietnam, we don't have it. But what I can say is, even with the effect of some international internet cable issue in Vietnam right now, I'm able to make a phone call through the Teams. Right now, I attend with you, and the team is running on Azure, right? I'm running on some demo with you, and you see it, right? So for me in Vietnam, without the data center and with some issue of the internet connectivity, I still have no kind of impact in terms of a latency. I'm saying no, it's not no, but really little impact of the latency due to this situation. But I believe that if you are in Indonesia and without it's near to Singapore, it's even better compared to Vietnam.
Yes, thank you Ryan. Ya, jadi jawabannya ya Pak. Jadi kalau it's in terms of data center, yes, memang sudah ada wacana ya berita bahwa Azure ada kapan di Indonesia, tetapi kalau secara timeline memang belum ada. Tapi yang tadi di-share oleh Mr. Ryan adalah in Vietnam sendiri ya, itu juga tidak ada data center, belum ada data center, tetapi comparing ya dengan seluruh layanan yang ada, yang lokal, maka secara umum ya aplikasi kita tidak akan terimpact banyak ya dari sisi latency ya. Dan ini sebenarnya bisa juga dianalogikan sebagai seperti yang kita tahu, this is from me, I added the explanation. Seperti yang kita tahu, say Facebook, YouTube, yeah, we have been enjoying those applications, those public applications. Those public applications, semua public aplikasi itu juga punya proxy, they have proxy in SGIX, not in Indonesia. And then we don't have any trouble actually, yeah, from the latency, things like that. So the idea is that, ya, mungkin ini memang hanya penjelasan, but we can assure you that for an application, especially for an internet application, when you put it on Azure, kalau kita taruh di Azure, latency dan juga scalability-nya, ya, latency-nya sendiri, ya, itu dari sisi itu tidak akan ada masalah. Ya. Secara umum, semua aplikasi yang sudah kita jalankan on Azure, ya, sampai hari ini belum ada yang mengexperience bahwa mengalami latency yang lebih besar daripada pada saat masih menggunakan di on-premises. Dan sekaligus juga menjawab pertanyaan Pak Wiyarno, how much bandwidth is needed if we want to move our server to the cloud? Yeah, so the bandwidth is actually not dictated by your server. The bandwidth is actually dictated by your users, ya. Jadi bukan lebih kepada berapa banyak server yang dipindahkan ke cloud ya Pak Wiyarno, tetapi lebih kepada aplikasi-aplikasi yang mau kita akses, ya, yang akan diakses oleh users kita melalui internet, itu butuh bandwidth berapa besar. Nah, tentunya for definite answer for your questions, kita perlu melakukan assessment, ya. Assessmentnya sebenarnya bukan lebih kepada capability servernya, tapi lebih kepada services. What applications are we moving to the cloud? And then those applications is used by how many users, right? Nah, so jadi bandwidthnya lebih ke arah sana. Nah, jadi kalau kita sudah move our application to the cloud, artinya dari Azure to your users, the bandwidth is, we can say, practically unlimited. Yeah. So by moving our server to the cloud, yeah, to Azure cloud, from Azure cloud to your users, practically unlimited, because Azure is located in backbone of the country and then the data center SGX, very big bandwidth. Nah, kalau yang ditanyakan bandwidth yang dibutuhkan minimal jika semua server pindah ke cloud, justru kalau server kita sudah pindah ke cloud ya Pak ya, maka bandwidth bukan masalah lagi, karena semua users mengaksesnya ke Azure Cloud lewat internet, tidak lagi memakai bandwidth perusahaan kita. Nah, tapi kalau yang Pak Wiyarno tanyakan adalah berapa besar bandwidth yang dibutuhkan dari dalam kantor saya ke server ya, ke Azure ya. Nah, itu tentunya kembali lagi kepada tadi. Jika kalau kita sudah memindahkan semua server kita ke cloud, berarti sebenarnya koneksi dari kantor kita ke internet itu adalah hanya untuk usersnya saja, Pak. Ya, untuk usersnya saja. Jadi tidak lagi kita bisa menggunakan any kind of internet ya, dengan bahkan broadband internet juga bisa dipakai. Ya, semoga menjawab Pak Wiyarno. Tapi kalau memang belum menjawab ya, kita nanti bisa bantu lagi ya sesinya setelah ini langsung one on one untuk membantu Pak Wiyarno memberikan jawaban ataupun solusi yang lebih lengkap. Ya. Baik, untuk itu jika masih ada pertanyaan lain, oh ya baik Pak Wiyarno menanya lanjutannya. Saya menggunakan Office 365, salah satunya email Outlook di Azure. Sebelumnya saya banyak spam dan malware. Apakah perlu security sendiri? Ya, ya, Pak Wiyarno, jawabannya this is actually a Office 365 questions. Ya, the answer is okay. Saya bisa menjawab secara generik, ya, bahwa Office 365 pada dasarnya memiliki dua level perlindungan, ya. Perlindungan standar dan perlindungan yang lebih tinggi yang di-provide oleh ATP, Advanced Threat Protection for Office 365. Ya, that is Office 365 Security. Ya, Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Yeah, please, Ryan, if you want to add something for the questions. The question is, does Office 365 has also additional threat protection? Thank you.
Yeah, so just quickly answer the question of. I have some echo, right? That is belong to the Office 365 security. So on the screen that we have the Office 365 security capability with the prevention detection for the malware from the email site. Even that is external email sent into the internal one, or even from the internal email, we assume rich, right? So some of the user may be compromised, and the attacker use that email to send out to some business partner. So we have a capability to detect and also to block it. And right now with a tool. Actually, just a couple of days ago, I joined an internal section, and we have huge capability updated into this tool. So I gonna help some section with a partner and hope that we can bring it into this webinar, similar webinar to you. And moreover than that, we reinvent on the security simulation, right? So basically, sometimes you cannot just depend on the tool. You need to create an awareness and a training for the end user. But how, right? How you can help the end user is not just protect the company assets, but also protect themselves. So with the new simulation tool, the end user will you can have the ability to customize to create some simulation attack with some tactic that the attacker using right now, and to train the end user how to respond, right? And on top of it, we have Microsoft Security Posture, again, similar to Azure Security Posture, will cover end-to-end M365 environment and help you to improve the secure score by taking action, similar to Azure Security Posture. So hope that we can explore it in another section.
Selamat Pak Budi. Nanti dari tim kami akan menghubungi Pak Budi untuk konfirmasi maupun nomor handphone yang akan dikirimkan untuk OVO atau GoPay-nya.